A very good morning, folks, and welcome to our broadcast. Another day. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good to have all of you on the live this morning. I see Debbie Collins is here, and Ingrid is here, Ingrid Crawford is here, and Christopher Chichester is here as well. Sylvia Allen, happy happy Tuesday to you. Shireen Hohenkirk, you all see where I am? Shireen Hohenkirk, good to see you on the live this morning. Cheryl Ann Haywood and Gavin Jacobs are here, and I see Benjamin Bristol here as well, and Chef Scalloville. And you fancy names, you know. Good to have you on the live this morning. Pam Halls is here with us as well, and I see Rihanna Mingo and Pretty Milicia is here too, and Debbie Collins, Gail Alicock, all our favorite folks on the live this morning. If you're now joining us, folks, thanks for being here this morning. We got a lot to share with you today, folks, and we're happy that all of you are here with us. Yvette Madu, and I see Edward Gonzalez, Marlon Thomas, good to have you here as well. Andrew Griffith, Doug, and Don, good to have all of you on the live this morning. Finel Innes as well. Well, the day is off to a fiery start. It's off to a fiery start in Region 1. Mabaruma, a very, very fiery start there. Yeah, that's how the day is starting. Good to have you guys on the live as we start the program this morning. Trying to get my bearings at this end, believe it or not. The first 15, folks. Anton Nicholson, good to see you there, Anton. Auntie Sandra is here. Sandra Hanover, good to see you, Auntie Sandra, on the live this morning. Another day. Deborah Pearson, good to see you as well. And we're starting, folks, as I said, in Region 1. Region 1, the RDC building, one of the buildings there for the RDC in Region 1 went up in flames. Some folks suggesting it's an electrical fire. Some folks are suggesting an electrical fire. Some folks are saying, some folks are saying this is election coming up. Governments may change, should change, will change, and that files are being gotten rid of. That's what some folks are saying. And according to the regional chairman there, one Brentnell Ashley, the big sahib, he says investigations are ongoing. Investigations are ongoing. Yep, that's how we're starting Monday, folks, with this early morning, Monday morning fire that, according to reports, have severely damaged the Region 1 RDC Council office at Mabaruma. And we're waiting to get some more on that. They said the walls of the building are charred. That also the furniture burnt inside the office. Documents as well. What do you folks say? No, you all sharp on these matters. Doug, Don, Andrew, sharp on these matters. Gail, that's how Monday starts. That's how Monday starts. And as I said, we're happy that you all are here with us. Another week, folks. A 4-day week. We had that holiday yesterday. How did you guys spend it? Oh, we got some rest. You know. Late yesterday afternoon, I got some riding. Put in some riding. I didn't feel like walking. I definitely didn't feel like running. So I went in between. Did some riding. When last you rode a cycle? When last you went on a bicycle? Everett Small, Sonia Massey Cobb. Good morning to you, Sonia. Good morning to you. Lynette Finance on the live this morning. Good to have you there. I started the day a little early at my end here too. I got like one sip of coffee left at the bottom here. I hope the folks in the kitchen hearing us this morning. Good to have all of you though. The Letlows and the Alberts and the Thomases of this world, the Ramasars of this world. Good to have you all. We're following this report still, folks, and we'll have, if we have more for you, you'll have it later on in the day. But that's where we're starting. That's where we're starting. This teacher's deal. Sabak News carried a report of a young teacher out of Essequibo over the weekend. Oh, he had some thoughts. Martin Samaru, I think it was. Young Martin Samaru, he had some thoughts of his own. You know, a lot of backlash still. A lot of backlash. And poor Dr. Lyte like an island by himself. Like an island by himself. You know, they got a this deal covers the period 2024 to 2026. 10% for 2024, 8% for 2025, 9% for 2026. Folks, it's the only country, it's an anomaly. People say increase. You see increase. Take a nosedive like that. All right. The up and down increase. Only in this country. And then you had some non-salary benefits there as well. Well, of course, that's if you want to call them benefits. Naomi Drucker. Good to see you on the live. Naomi says that Dr. Lyte is not by himself. He with the PP gang. Naomi seems to know a lot of things. God bring you in the ring. At least bring side. Number of teachers have been dissatisfied with this 75-day strike. They didn't get much out of it. When all things are considered, all things being equal. Ceteris paribus. That's the Latin phrase. Hope my Latin is a little. This morning, as I said, I saw Sabak News did this lengthy article over the weekend talking with young teacher there from Essequibo Islands, Martin Samaru, who voiced his frustrations over this agreement and a number of systemic issues, highlighting a culture of fear and lack of promotion for outspoken teachers. He expressed also the hope for a more critical and reform-minded generation. I think young Martin Samaru, he's of that generation. He's of that ilk, Marlon Thomas. Brennan Thompson. You know who else I heard weighing into this matter quite recently? And when I say weighing in, I mean weighing with a capital way. Former Finance Minister Winston Jordan over the weekend. Oh, he had some thoughts on this. People want a piece of him. Like how Michael Young apparently want a piece of Paul Slow. People don't want a piece of him. Right? People don't want to Winston Jordan, bitter or sweet. He had some strong thoughts. You know, just like young Martin Samaru, he teacher didn't get much here. I told you folks, Deltry and Orwin Dunn, I ain't seen nobody backflipping over this deal. I'm so happy that so many of you on the live this morning. Over 500 of you tuned in already. We were 10 minutes into our broadcast. Leon Blair, Marlon Thomas says, I love you, Mr. Jordan. I sure Mr. Jordan, if and when he reads that, he can say love back to you, Marlon. Eula Lafferman, Deji Albert, Yvette. You know. So now that the Terence craze subsiding, right? Now that the Terence craze subsiding, can we get back to some serious matters? You know? Can we get back to some serious matters? I remember a message my pastor preached many years ago. You know? Private sins turn public. Now that we get past Terence issues, Could we move on to some other things? As I said, former Finance Minister Winston Jordan weighed into this matter. Let's look. Hold on. If you got a chance between Ashley and Winston, were you there? Where are you? You have this very soon. Could be by the end of the year. You know, you'll be like Camille Cox. To me, say share the thing. Share the thing. Former finance minister. He studied for this thing, you know. Right? There's not no friends and family here. He studied for this thing. Here's some of his thoughts as he weighs in. All 190 pounds, weighing into this issue. Former Finance Minister Winston Jordan, he was on Nation Watch. Not a popular program. Nation Watch. Brendan side shows Winston. Brennan side shows Winston. Magnell side shows Winston. Jilly G say Winston all day. Should Harris chance a call election now? That is what I saw the opposition leader in Jamaica over the weekend throwing down the gauntlet. He said call election now. Holding. Not holding. Holness. He said call election now, Holness. Yeah. Take a look. Take a listen. Now you got to distract people, eh?
Teachers have done a disservice. The teachers' negotiation team has done a disservice to the rest of the public sector because there's absolutely no way that the government is going to give a salary increase higher than 10% to the rest of the public sector. Not when they're using this fiction of fiscal space, right? In fact, many of them using the word fiscal space don't even understand the concept. But it is thrown out there to dazzle and bamboozle the unions. And that is what happened to the union negotiations. They were bamboozled because none other than the president of the union was heard repeating exactly what the government said. He said, well, we couldn't get any more because they say they don't have fiscal space. I don't think he understands what fiscal space means.
Or maybe he does.
Right? I really honestly would give him the benefit of the doubt in saying that he didn't understand what on earth he was talking about. Because fiscal space has to do with priorities, right? Priorities within the construct of a budget or a plan. So you make your own fiscal space. As I said in the previous program, there are three elements that will make up that fiscal space: the revenues, the expenditure, and the financing of whatever deficit that you may have. On the revenue side, you will never have fiscal space if you continue to give away tax concessions inordinately, indiscriminately, which is a continuation of a situation that we found in 2015 when we came in power.
Well, as you hear the term beat and teach. well, as you hear that term, beat and teach. You can hashtag that this morning. Winston Jordan, beat and teach. Love it. So, of course, according to Sabbath News, it's not me, Dr. Lyte. Sabbath News says that Lyte has been labeled a sellout. Lyte has been labeled a sellout. Folks, again, this is according to Sabbath News. Right? For me, the jury is still out. Lyte has been labeled a sellout, but he has reiterated his commitment to representing the teachers' interests. That was going down in that court. It's all kinds of things. Can't leave you out for a weekend. Yeah, Gail Alcock says true. She knows he's a sellout. Right? She knows. Right? Donna George said Lyte get something sweet. Lyte got something sweet. Yeah. I think they call her brung bags in some other places. Brung bags in some other places. So we're following that, folks. He said he's not a sellout. He's a God-fearing man, and he is doing the will of the Lord and representing the interests of the teachers here. And if that wasn't good enough for your weekend, that is not good enough for your weekend. New group coming, new entity, force, party, whatever you want to call it. Whatever you want to call it. They're going by the name Guard. Guard. Here's some folks at Gardy. But let's go with Guard for now. So Guard, is supposed to be a new political group. Guyana United for Accountability and Resource Development. It doesn't seem dollar signs already. Yeah. It doesn't seem dollar signs. The name says it all. Guyana United for Accountability and Resource Development, GORD. Said they're going to be contesting the 2025 general election. Folks, hold on. You know, as you're getting older, you just got to ask me to hold on so you can catch up. Right. Hold on so you can catch up a little bit. Hold on. Yeah, hold on. If y'all want to know the viability of new political parties, ask yourself, where the 38, 36, 38 political parties that were formed to contest the 2020 general and regional elections, where are they? Sandra Hanover said Lyte is a demon, that she never trusted him. Lyte, I didn't say that. Sandy Sandra. Sandy Sandra. But ask yourself, right? I saw what is this fella name again? Right? He'd come out and talk a set of things about the man sweep for 7 million and win. We name again? Right? He'd working for the Granger government, earning a very, very one of those super salaries. And he'd cuss me down at the same time. And then he formed a political party afterwards. The day contract end, he launched a political party the next day. That was a good life. You think anybody could walk in for the PPP and cussing the PPP down, much more for starting a political party after? You think anybody? No, because they're an autocracy. The PPP is an autocracy. It's only in a democracy you do that. It's only a democracy you do that. Right? Naomi says, Guard is Melly Mel and Brome's party. Well, I can ask them. I'll have to put these allegations to them, Naomi. Guard is Melly Mel and Brome's. Back to democracy. PPP got an autocracy. You all know how they roll. They would never do that. Right? The minute you walk in for government and you say Guard, out. The minute you walk in for government, you say up. You even got to say the new. Up, out. But this fella working for we, earning big salary. Views in the government, views in everybody, whole day of government time. The minute the contract done, you make up the line, start your own party. But I'll give you the prime here. Where happened to the party? Isn't the party name again? Where happened to the party? You talking now with one of ministry. Right? You talking with Glenn Lala piece of time. He thought he'd hold the papers. You can't just land, You jump off some treetop, land on the ground, and you think you own Kaicho News? Huh? You jump off some rooftop, land on the ground, and you think you Kaicho News? You think Kaicho News is the coalition? You ain't got a democracy here. You talking now? We come to the party. You the party name again? You remember Asher party? Asher's the last man standing. Asher's the last man. Only Asher got the balls. Asher stand up. Right? That party had a massive implosion. That party has a mass. Right? One day, folks, 18 of 19 members resigned. Party imploded. Y'all hear not guiding even got some sound effects. One day the whole party, 18 of 19 members resigned. The whole thing mash up. And now they're trying to get the last man to resign. Dr. Asher said, no. And I'm telling you, I think I'm a singing voice this morning, a little rusty. And I'm telling you, I'm not going. She said, you, up no, you. I know you're going to love me. She said, you think y'all could jump off some treetop land on the ground and tell me resign? I got some things to do here. Anybody can jump off no treetop, rooftop land on the ground telling me what to do. I just got some things to do in this National Assembly here. I'm not resigning. But the point I want to make, look at the trajectory of new parties. It's a difficult thing. I'm not saying it cannot be done. Right. The AFC is reference point. My party choice. I tell you, I abused my AFC this morning, Naomi. My party choice, constitutionally entitled to my party choice. One of the few still left standing. One of the few still left standing. It's a difficult thing. I'm not saying Gard can't do it. Right? I'm going to name it Gard though. They had a Gard before. I might have got Gardy, but they had a Gard before. Y'all remember Sam Hines? I got deeper voice. A deeper register. You remember Sam Hines? Sam Hines' party, the name Gard. Sam Hines' party was named Gard. Just like TUF. PP swallow them up. Y'all stop right there. Don't say another word. Right? I don't even allow some of you to jump off the rooftop or the treetop. I throw y'all up. Don't say another word. PP. Consume yarn. Consume the TUF. Consume them. It's not impossible, Gard. New Gard. Right? It's not impossible. Right? Mind you, I heard PM Manachan the other day saying, she's not PPP. Hold on. Hold on, folks. She says she's part of the what's the non-existent aspect of the PP? Let's call it civic. She says she's a Presbyterian civic. She's not PPP. Says she's not PPP. I see JG saying songs. So y'all seem to know more than me. That guard, what guard is or isn't, or who is guard, right? Who is, so I hear some people say, "I's guard now." I hear some knock, you know. Sometimes I get up and guard outside my house. Outside of that, Colin Hines. So it's going to be interesting 2025. No doubt, like any electoral cycle, you have a couple surprises, you know. I have no doubt the people got some weak people ready to wheel out. So, oh, look, the switch. Some weak, inconsequential, spineless, disrespectful, right? Good for nothings. They're going to roll out, right? Like parking meter pat. Yeah? Listen to me. If you ever had one woman who she's squandering is parking meter pat. It's parking meter pat. That's like one of the only person I see. You move from point A to point B and you're still inconsequential. Still inconsequential. If parking meter pat had any weight, that's a junior minister, PS, or something like that. But you see, they ain't gonna let me 3 years. She that city hall for 40 years. What a show. And I see Marlon Jacobs them abusing down Marlon Jacobs. What's the other fella name? Whatever is his name. Abusing down Alfred. And they get the they get parking meter pat. One of the persons who single-handedly destroyed the city hall. Single-handedly. Right? You see, that's why I got to stay with my little Jesus. Because he said, you can see the speck in your brother eye. But the parking meter that they own, you can't see it. I said, Father, it's true. You can't see it. So we're looking to see what guard has to offer. They get people like parking meter pat right there. But it's Alfred they're worrying with. What account could green turn red parking meter pat? What account could she give? I want your whole term as a councillor for her tenure as mayor, chief citizen. What could she say constructively she's done? Besides betraying her colleagues and drinking soup now. Let's move on, folks. So we're going to watch and wait to see the rollout of guard. Right? The rollout of guard. They're not treat up right now. Let's wait to see how they land on the ground. Folks, I don't know. If you think I know, if y'all know, you gotta share with me because I don't know who is guard. Sabak News is reporting on this today. Let's move on. Let's move on. Let's move on. We showed you on our show on Friday night. Vince Roy Jordan on the ground in Region 5, with farmers. Well, again, the PP vex. They run out now to say that he has been spewing lies. I didn't even hear Jordan. I heard the farmers. I heard the farmers saying his friends, family, and favorites. I heard another farmer said, them boys trying for TV land. But the PP, they didn't hear that. They did not hear that. Right? They come now to say, oh, Jordan is peddling untruths. That's what they said. That's what they want us to believe. But it's not so. It's the people on the ground, fed up, dissatisfied with what the people doing, you know. I don't have it queued up now, but we put out a clip over the weekend where the other Jordan finance minister, former finance minister, said the fertilizer, for instance, small farmers ain't get nothing. Maybe that's why those farmers upset. You see? Just maybe that is why those farmers are upset. Now, they're extrapolating from that MP Vince Roy Jordan somehow, telling untruth to their constituents. It's fed up the people, fed up with the PPP. It's fed up. And I know some of you have been saying, oh, don't bother with them, or they can still vote PPP, right? Don't let me write off anybody. Don't let me write off everybody. Please, except those of the ilk of Parkimite Pat. Right? You see what get me vexed is when we win and some of them come back, or one come back. And that's not going to be the problem for me, Yvette Madu, Colin Heights. That's not going to be the problem for me. It's when they get take back. It's when they get take back. Not going to be the problem. All right? That's going to be the problem. I ain't got to jump from a rooftop on the ground and somersault in somebody's chest. From the treetop to the ground and somersault in somebody. That's going to be the problem. So Ventura is only talking things, right, like members of parliament should be doing. You on the ground hearing what is happening, folks. While you have a strong leaning to your constituents, like anybody who was elected by a group of persons, right, you're elected to represent all the people of the region. Even avowed PPPites. Even avowed PPPites, and this is an election where we can need everybody. Except the Parkimite Pats of this world. Except them. That's it. The ilk. The ilk. Except. You see? Except. As a son, all right. Let me. I know I'm gonna look. I'm happy the courts put the brakes on them boys last week. Anil and them. The courts basically said, while compulsory acquisition is lawful and legal, right? Once you satisfied as Professor Eversley, was it Eversley who used to say you gotta look for the no, is it Eversley? Yes, I think it was Eversley. You gotta look for the limbs of the tort, right? Once you satisfy the components, compulsory acquisition is legal. But you can't take away the people land before you get them a fair price for it. But this is the nature of the PPP. You remember when he go and tell the folks there at Kingley, you broke down the fence, referring to Lincoln Lewis's family's ancestral land. I think ancestral is connoted in the term family. Lincoln Lewis, ancestral land. I don't want to be redundant, perhaps the emphasis. Family's ancestral land. Break down the fence. The court said, you got to stump up. And this is the problem in this country. Neon Harding, this is the problem in this country, Desri Albert. A lot of people watch the squatters look down on poor people. You see, I took a ride yesterday, as I said. Right? I took a ride yesterday afternoon. I ride through some places and I feel the poverty. You ever feel the poverty? Rode through some places. People look down on poor people. Oh, step. I got my title, I got my transport. Look what happened to me. Huh? Huh? Today they're coming for the Protestants. Remember the Nazis? Today they might be coming for the trade union. They say, well, I belong to the trade union. Today they might be coming for the squatters. Say, oh, that's not me. Don't squat. Get your title and your... Well, the people at Peter's Hall there and so on, the people got a title, they got a transport, and they're still trying to bully them out. That's what they're doing. They're trying to bully the people. And the judge, the court, don't let me sing loud, the judge, the court did what, is it Gandalf, Lord of the Rings? When he blocked the demon, he threw down his staff, he said, you shall not pass. Well, the demon people get blocked last week rather. They got blocked last week. Court said they're fed up of them. The court said Section 7 of the Land Acquisition in the judgment. Section 7 of the Land Acquisition for Public Purposes Act is structured to ensure that while the state has the authority to acquire land, such power is balanced by the necessity of compensation. One of the things I loved about learning the law is the use of language. You got to balance the authority of the state to acquire land with the necessity of the owner of the land to compensation. The court went on to say in this judgment, granting immediate possession without resolving compensation between the parties undermines the constitutional protections afforded to landowners under Article 142 of the Constitution. I can leave some of that for homework. The courts put the brakes on them and said, demon PPP, you will not pass. Seeing Gandalf in my head, laying down his staff, you're passing here. Demon. That's what the court said. You can acquire the land through compulsory acquisition. I won't go through all of it. If it's in the public interest and all of that and so on. I won't go through the limbs. It wasn't Eversley. I had some good lecturers in law. Calvin Eversley was trained at Harvard. It wasn't Eversley. Eversley didn't do tort. Was it Eversley? Doubt it myself. It was a good lecturer. You look for the limbs of the tort. See, you had a right. Right? You breached the right. You look for the limbs. There you go. No. One missing, the whole thing fails. The court says the government has a right in the public interest of transportation and efficiency, all the nonsense that they carry. But the landowners got a right too. I warn you, I don't know if you got your title and your transport, them boys can still come and try something. You know, they like see land. They are still gonna come and try something, and that's it. That's a larger point I want to make, because some of us don't want to lend support when you see them coming for the squatters, but when they start coming for you now, then you want the whole country stop and say, "Hey, lend support. You never know when you are gonna come and you're gonna need support. Lend support." So that's not me issue. I need private sector. I need public service. Right? So wages, you and teachers increases and so on. It don't affect me. All right. All right. Then here but you. So that's one of the things happening there. That's one of the things happening there. We watching that. The judge said, no, 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 no. Pay the people first. Remember the old song? Make sure you get the money first before you lie down in that bed. Can't do it. No, no, no. They want to do the work first. They want to do the work first. Money first. I always remember that. Money before. Always remember that. Well, I see y'all boy back when then. Joel. Folks, let me slow down here a little bit. I just lose some people. Ashton and Naomi and right? Y'all think I'm young and I should know about these things, né? You know, happy Jesus saved Naomi. Naomi says, Shirley used to be my anthem. Such were some of us, Naomi. Such were some of us. That's big, big tune back in the day. You know, now everything is too explicit, man. Too explicit. You know, my wife and I went walking in the seawall the other day, like a young married couple, right? Like a young married couple, right? And I hear some lyrics. I said, by the time we come up the seawall, both will be pregnant. Nothing was left to the imagination. They tell you everything. Every conceivable thing. That's the tragedy with music these days. Everything they're telling you. You know? It has lost its it's lost that thing. It's lost that thing. So yeah, by Joel back when then from the Public Procurement Commission, I think he with a lot of things. You know, some people have done everything. I think y'all call him Patsal. Everything he in. But he ran out today to say the Petroleum Commission wouldn't guarantee incorruptibility in the sector. Right? It wouldn't guarantee. It's like saying the police force wouldn't stop crime. But it's still necessary. You won't stop every crime. But like a good guardrail, it's better you have it on the road than you don't. Talking about guardrail, I heard, and I agree to an extent, as an aside, coming back to a bag on it, I heard Edgil, well, I shouldn't say because, all right, let me come back. Lisa, not all contractors competent. Not all contractors are competent. I gotta go and show you all this thing. It's on my mind. This cemetery road. I keep telling y'all the walkway, the avenue, the whatever you call it. This high off the road, like Canchi. That's the word looking for. Is it a canchi bit off the road? Like, already, because of the wild, reckless folks. I had some other adjectives lined up there, but it's a morning show. Because of the wildness of the drivers on the road, I saw a car involved in an accident, and one end up on the avenue already. I told you about that. I told you about that. The pavement is a high on the road. Yesterday afternoon, as I was riding, I saw one driver. He couldn't wait to get to the corner because it's two parallel roads and the avenue in between. He couldn't wait to get to the corner to come around the other side. The man just drive through the avenue. Literally drive over the avenue. A child could see in this country the hazard such a design of an avenue in this country could be with the wildness. With the wildness. The avenue used to have two drains at the side. So as a car, you'd have to clear the drain to kill anybody in the avenue if you get out of control. But they're taking the drains. They're taking the drains to make the road wider. Now what you got? At least the cemetery right there, so you're not go far. You're not gonna go far, and they used to have the funeral home right there as well as you're getting through Cemetery Road there. The funeral home is now a supermarket. Right? I think Laurie Alexander used to own that funeral home. It used to be part of the ownership. What's the name of that funeral home? But let me come back now to the Petroleum Commission. And they're arguing a police force wouldn't stop crime, so you need a police force. The GDF wouldn't stop incursions from the border and incursions to your territorial integrity, so you need a GDF. That's basically the argumentation here with the Petroleum Commission. It is corrupt. They corrupt. That is the reason why they don't want to operationalize the commission. It is because they are corrupt. I told y'all that I was listening to Mr. Stop and Escort. Mr. Stop, Question and Escort at JFK. Stop, Question again, it's Development and Escort. I understand why the people ask him what they ask him. Because in the press conference, the fella said to have an oversight body, to have the Petroleum Commission, he said it would slow down the work of the commission. And here you got back when they run out, they said, you don't. Petroleum Commission wouldn't guarantee incorruptibility. But you still need the oversight. The police force wouldn't catch every criminal. God knows you got a lot of them packed up right in there. But it is still a necessary feature for law and order in every society. But here the minister in his own words, as we unback on in, the minister in his own words, rationalizing at the only press conference he's had for the year. The only press conference the ministry has had for the year, rationalizing why, like back when then, he believes you really need a commission. Stranger than fiction. The larger point I want to make, folks, this country holds the PAP by a different standard. And definitely the supporters hold them by a much lower standard than other governments. Because had this been said or done under any other administration, the PAP would have been in front of every international tribunal, body, person, crying foul. Crying foul. But as I said, they are hypocrites. As the Minister of Education spelled it on social media once, hypocrite. They're hypocrites. Vikram, in his own words, about the Petroleum Commission, it's not necessary.
If you want to ask of the Petroleum Commission, I can say that our position remains the same. The Vice President mentioned it, I mentioned it in the Parliament when I was speaking, that we will have a Petroleum Commission at some point in time. If you ask me when, I can't tell you tomorrow, I can't tell you next month. But what I can tell you is that we will have a Petroleum Commission in place at some time soon. But again, the Petroleum Commission will basically be doing what we are doing at the Petroleum Unit at the Ministry of Natural Resources. I don't think they'll be doing anything different from what we are doing now. As a matter of fact, they might probably, a commission like that might be slower in decision making than the policymakers making decision with regards to how we advance this sector, taking into consideration that we have a limited time frame and a closing window. So we have to look at the advantages and disadvantages of everything. It might be nice to say, oh, we should put a petroleum commission in place. Yeah, it might be nice to say that. But what are the advantages and what are the disadvantages? Do we really need that now? Isn't the petroleum unit at the Ministry of Natural Resources functioning effectively? Haven't we managed the sector well over the last few years, building out the framework, putting the legislative framework in place too, having a new model Petroleum Activities Act, having a local content legislation, having a new PSA in place, having improvements of production, license, environmental permits, and putting all the monitoring capabilities in place. I don't see a commission doing anything different from what the Petroleum Unit is doing at the Ministry of Natural Resources. But not to write it off, as I said, we have made a commitment that we will have that at some point in time. But more than likely, I mean, we got to be real. I like being real. That more than likely is these same gentlemen and ladies who you see here who are managing the unit will be under the Petroleum Commission, because we can't throw them away and bring a set of new staff and say, you go, we will staff the commission with these people. It will be the same people who are doing the job right now.
Yeah, welcome back, folks. You understand now why you get stopped on question. You understand now why Vikram gets stopped and questioned about Guyana's development. You understand why? Because you felt different. And he's exposing what the government believes, because the government hasn't said anything different. Unlike when Todd gave Taiwan the embassy locally, right? When Todd jump off the treetop, land on the ground, and give Taiwan, and then PP said, no, he make the decision in personal capacity. But you see, he not quite the land yet. So we can hold off on that, right? Like when them boys wanted sand licenses, what do you call it? Sand pit licenses. Hickens and them. My God. Governance under them strange. PP hasn't counteracted anything. This is what, 2-3 weeks ago? Vikram had that press conference mid-year. So the PP don't believe that they can slow down decision making. You heard that? Mr. Stop on question? When people hear that, I could understand why he'd be stopped, questioned, and escorted. Like, sir, how y'all can do that in Guyana? I mean, y'all are frightened electorate? Like you say, you're on that oversight body would slow down the work? What kind of corner shop country is them, man? You can see the questions rolling in. Man, see, but slow down the decision making. Have you oversight body? Ah, that's like to say the Teaching Service Commission, would slow down the progress of the industry, the sector. Yeah. Police Service Commission, who needs that? Judicial Service Commission, you're slowing down things. Chancellor, who needs that? You understand why now the reluctance to operationalize any of those entities. It is only in its third year in office the PP try to do that. Who needs a substantive Chief Justice? You would slow down things, institutionalize somebody that now she sit down there in her own deliberate judgment. No, let's try to keep people beholden. You understand? No. These staff who we could hire and fire at will, you put in a commission now, they got security, tenure, and so on. They might get besides itself. Start issuing some independent report like GOSAI. Start doing independent negotiation and so on. Like GOSAI. No. Trust us. Trust we. We are incorruptible. We would never go down that road with you. No. We ain't got no Terrence here. We're all faithful to the cause of the Guyanese people. We ain't got no Terrence here. Right. Some of y'all, we even need Terrence's wife. Terrence good out by himself. We need wife for. Huh? These watchdog wives searching through your things. Knowing the whole thing. Don't need that. Folks, as we wrap up. I know you have got places to go and things to do as we wrap up. Some of the things we should have covered. When we get stuck, them jagabats and trench crappos, right? Ralph is bat for them more than he batting for Anung. And that's why Asha still along there. Ralph is bat for them, or in a very lucrative brown bag with the advice on what borders or something like that. Lucrative arrangements. Batting for them more than Indians. And when he says scrap the whole constitution reform process, I want to hear Ralph on that business there with the Petroleum Commission. He says in the current state, the Constitutional Reform Commission, the mandate is nonsense. Not the commission. The mandate, he says nonsense, it's foolishness. Scrap the whole thing. Scrap the whole. I want to hear Ralph on the Petroleum Commission. You don't hear him borders, you hear him everything else but borders. And then you got the other Ralph. Let's end here. Imagine you got a fellow, right? You got a fellow who would say it's in we best interest to have Maduro as president. Maduro, who the other day was a stone throw from Georgetown with the referendum, right? And Dulce Rodriguez, who jabbed you frightened? Who, right? Rodriguez, Dulce, who jabbed you frightened? Because she's a better VP than he. A stone throw from Georgetown. Ralph saying it's in our best interest to have him as president next door. And in the same breath, he said, me here for his friends. Here is my friend. The same breath, the man next door, the one half your country, you should happy he's president. Yes, my friend here, fun. If Ralph is not a Judas, if Ralph Gonzalez, the Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines in partnership with Maduro, Nicolas Maduro, to invade Guyana and take half the country. We gotta apologize to Charon Das Prasad. If Ralph Gonzalez, the Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, in bed, P. Brown bag, with Nicolas Maduro of Venezuela, conspiring with him for thief half the country, we have to apologize to Charon Das Prasad. He said, Irfan is my friend. I wonder if Irfan to Maduro is what Trump is to Putin. Do you remember Irfan carry rum and so on for Maduro the other day? Rum, chocolate, and roses? You remember that? You remember that? Because since Big Uncle talk over the weekend, Irfan, who was run out and do a live in Barrel Ground and all over the place, ain't run out yet. The government didn't utter a word. He said Irfan is his friend. Huh? Irfan is his friend. And he tell his friend, you need your enemy. You need Maduro there. Right? But I understand what's happening here. Hold on. You understand what's happening here. Right? Folks, I know you're big enough in politics to understand set pieces. And Ralph is a set piece for the right price. Ralph Gonzalez is a set piece for the right price. Here was the set piece that Ralph is. Ralph is the same set piece he is to Irfan as he is to Maduro. Ralph is the only Caribbean leader thus far that I know about who has come out and said that the Venezuelan elections were free and fair and free from fear. He said he see the statements of poll and everything up and up. He said Maduro was duly elected. And that is the role Ralph is hired to play for Irfan. We have an election next year. And should anything become unstable, he can be the first to run it and said, my friend Irfan has been duly elected. These elections were free and fair and free from fear. I see the SOPs myself. I take your licks like a man, Aubrey. Take your licks like... He said, Irfan, is in your best interest to have Maduro. Right? Never mind you want to have the country. Small thing. Small thing. Never mind you want to have the country. Folks, let's leave it there. Right. We ain't got to apologize for Charon Das. Y'all carry on with Ralph. Carry on with Ralph. When Maduro and Rodriguez sit down in ship in the ranch and Paul Drive, and then on a visit, then we can know we did Ralph. Right? When the private sector in Guyana so in them and put in a mala, and Rodriguez and Maduro sit down at ship in ranch and Paul Drive, then we can know we did Ralph. Can't say warn you. Can't say they warn you. Into Kushiba. All right. That being said, folks, that's your dose of politics, local and regional, for the morning. We're going to see you guys right back here in the next broadcast. Jilly G, Royston Sampson, Yvette Madu, Ava Nicholson, Marcy Agard, Annette Cummins. Right. Good morning to each and everyone. We have a fantastic day. All of you, except Ralph Gonzalez. Except Ralph Gonzalez. Good morning to each and every one of you. Have a fantastic day, except Ralph Gonzalez. We're going to see you guys right back here on the next one. That's our time, folks. That's our program. Stay safe. Have a fantastic rest of the day, folks. We're going to see you guys right back here in the next podcast. Stay safe.